All right, we are live. Friends and enemies, Schizo podcast, episode 27, and it's a Friday night. We are live on Twitch. If you haven't seen that yet, we are on. The link is twitch.tv/Miggy3D. You can check me out there. You can watch me live every Tuesday and Friday, 9 p.m. And this is going to be a delayed telecast. It's going to be posted on YouTube and Spotify on Wednesday and Saturdays. Yeah, there we go. It's a good weekend. It's going to be the first weekend actually after GCQ. Yep. So seems like there's going to be a lot of things going on for the weekend. I thought it was going to be Father's Day as well, but turns out it's not yet going to be Father's Day this Sunday. So I kind of thought of that prematurely. But anyway, we have a lot of things to talk about tonight. It's going to be very heavy actually. So let's see how it goes. And I am going to do this alone for tonight. Still, a lot of people are busy. They're still getting back on their feet. A lot of people are, I guess, busy with work. But yeah, we'll do what we can here at Schizo the podcast. So bear with me, and if you're watching live, I highly appreciate you watching tonight. I guess are clubs open? Bars? No, maybe not. No. So yeah, maybe you have time to watch. So yeah. Anyway, let's go to the topic at hand. The first on our list is actually it's very popular, and a lot of people are going crazy about this one. It's the Anti-Terrorism Bill here in the Philippines. So yeah, we're gonna start local. The Anti-Terrorism Bill was a bill that's proposed, I guess, by Lacson. What's the name of Lacson? Forgot his first name, but Panfilo. Yeah, it's a very very old school name. So yeah, Panfilo Lacson proposed this bill, and my comments on it. If you look at it face value, if you look at the name, Anti-Terrorism Bill or Anti-Terrorist Act, it's not bad. I like it. If what we're trying to do here is remove terrorism, or anti-terrorism, like the real word terrorism itself, if we're trying to prevent that, then I have no problems with it. If we want to remove terrorism here in the Philippines or prevent it, I'm totally fine with it. But the problem with it is my problem with it is that in this bill itself, it's trying to expand or change what terrorist act really is. So if we go by what terrorism really means, and if we're trying to prevent that, then I'm fine with the bill. I mean, we should try to prevent it anyway, right? We ourselves as a country, we have experienced some terrorist acts before. So if we're trying to prevent terrorism in the real definition of terrorism, then I'm all for that. But right now, well, what they're trying to do, they're trying to expand what terrorism actually is, and to the point where the term terrorism, or their definition of terrorism, is no longer terrorism itself. I'll read to you I'll read to you some of the things that they're including as terrorism. Here's one. So, to provoke or influence or intimidate the government or any of its international organizations. So this is one thing. So if you're provoking or influencing, to go against the government, I think that's okay. That's not a terrorist act per se. It's a lot of people are saying activism will no longer be allowed. Well, then I kind of agree if we go with this definition. You can no longer provoke the government. You can no longer influence other people. That's like, if you're influencing people to go against the government, I mean, there's a lot of like right now. There's a lot of reasons why you should go against the government. A lot of their decisions are very shitty, including this one. But yeah, so if we're gonna say that going against the government or influencing people to go against the government, especially if they're doing such terrible decisions right at the moment, then that's bullshit. I don't call that terrorism at all. So I don't think this is a anti-terrorism act. So if they're including more definition of terrorism, that's a bad. And the last one is seriously undermine public safety. There again is very vague, especially nowadays. Like if you like, let's say if I go out without a mask, and to some people, they would maybe think that's me undermining public safety. So is that terrorism in that regard? It did say seriously undermine public safety, but like to what extent is seriously, like, what does seriously even mean? At this point, it's just very vague, So I think the government should at least be clear in their definition. This is this is not a joke. This is a very serious bill, and if this gets passed, and there's going to be a lot of imprisonment involved. There's going to be a lot of surveillance involved. So I guess it's going to be there's going to be a lot of people suffering the consequences if they you know if they are under the umbrella of terrorist act. But if this terrorist act is this vague, and it's very questionable, the definition of terrorist acts right here in this bill, then we should question the government. We should do something about it. I am not for this bill. If you ask my opinion, I don't want this bill to be passed. If we are gonna pass this bill and replace the HSA Act, what do you call this, approved during 2007, then we should at least clarify the definition of terrorist acts. If it's gonna be this vague, and if we're gonna include some very questionable definition of terrorism, like provoking government, or like just being, yeah, it didn't specifically say that if you become an activist, it's considered terrorism. But like the definition of activism is kind of like what terrorist acts is defined here. So that's very questionable. So I am not for that. I am definitely not for that. I think like this is, of course, this is a speculation and this is an opinion. I think a lot of people who are in power, uh, they are starting to get fed up with us saying things or saying bad things about them. They are no longer happy with how things are going. They feel like they are getting attacked on social media, and in turn, of course, they are getting unpopular more and more. So if there's one way to remove that, to remove the power from us, to destroy them, or not really destroy them, but like keep them in check. If there's one way to remove our power to keep them in check, then this is one way to do it. Ramon Revilla tried to do that. He tried to put like taxes on the internet. All those YouTube content. So if you try to do that, you're gonna be taxed. So that's another way to do it. So it's gonna be limiting for us because we're gonna be taxed. So I guess we're gonna be silenced a little bit. Those people who can't afford to say something, or who can't afford to pay taxes for voicing out their opinion, of course they're gonna shut up. but I guess it didn't work. It wasn't passed. So here we are. We are looking at another way for like minimize the backlash of saying something stupid or like making a bad decision. And I get it. We have been very critical of our government. Not only us, the citizens, also news outlets. We have been very critical of our government. So I guess it's starting to get to them. They are starting to lose confidence in themselves. They are starting to feel like I am. We need to shut these people up because they are saying a lot of things to destroy our maybe already destroyed reputation. So this is one way to do it, I guess. Not you can't see it on the title, but if you read on what this bill really means, it's very suspicious. It seems like this is just a way for them to make us be quiet or not go against with whatever they are saying. The government should not be absolute. We know that sometimes the government, all those people in power, they're human at the end of the day. So no matter how good they are going to be tempted. They are going to go through a phase where they're gonna choose money over the people that they serve, or they're gonna choose fame or power over the people that put them in power. So I get that, and that's why we need the media. That's why they need something like the internet. That's why they need us to keep them in check. But if we're gonna give this bill to them, and in as a result shut us up, I am not for this bill. I am definitely not for this bill. So there you go. Let's go global at the moment. So we have. I mean, I've talked about it with Eloin, who is also listening right now as well. So we've talked about racism 2 episodes ago. We've talked about how this issue with Floyd. He got killed by a police officer in broad daylight. To add that up, and a lot of people really lost it. Especially the blacks. They really are. They really felt like they have to do something about it. And what's happening now, if you're not aware, there's a lot of riots going on in the U.S. There are people who are saying, like even before the riots happened, they are saying we should go out and cause chaos. We should go out and cause trouble to the people because we've tried the easy way. We've tried going on a rally. We've tried doing peaceful rallies. But at the end of the day, this is still going on. Racism is still happening on broad daylight. A lot of the blacks are still being killed, even though it's unlawful. It's something that is not good. It's something that's disgusting. It's been an ongoing thing, and so the black people are fed up. They went out and caused chaos. While I don't agree with the riots, I think violence is not the solution. It's never the solution, but it's what you use it for, I guess. Is what I'm saying. If they've been doing peaceful rallies for a long time, they've tried doing all these peaceful rallies. They've tried to go to the Senate. They tried to appeal to the government, and we still look at the police killing blacks like they're insects. Then we have a serious problem. And they've been rallying peacefully. They've been appealing to the government. And if this is what they keep seeing all the time, black people getting killed without mercy, then I get what they're doing. I get the riots. If voices are not heard, then maybe actions. If they're going with riots, if they're going with violence to make themselves heard, I understand what they're doing it, why they're doing it. I wouldn't do something like that, I guess. I don't think it's a good idea. But if you've been doing it peacefully for a long time, then I'm saying I understand why they're doing it. Another thing about violence is this looting though. What's that? It's no longer just riots. They are now looting stores, and that one in this case, this one, I do not agree with this. The looting part. It's basically they're stealing. They're stealing to people. Um, if they're stealing to big companies, like Apple, they're stealing to like McDonald's or something like that. All those huge companies. I know it's wrong, but if that's what they're doing, I don't have a problem because these people they are big companies and they have influence over the government. Of course, they're very rich. These companies are billions of in assets. So of course they're gonna have a huge influence towards the government's decisions. So if they say, "Hey, government, we are suffering because of these riots. You have to do something," and considering the fact that they have insurance, these huge companies, they have insurance like the Louis Vuittons, the Apple, Microsoft, all their stores, they have insurance. So I don't mind. I don't mind if that's what we're gonna do. If you're gonna go and loot, if you loot these people, if you loot these companies, I don't mind. I think, if you ask me, it's the best way for you to get to those people, to get to the government, because they have considerable influence to the government because they're very rich. But if you loot those people who are like, or the businesses who are small or mid businesses, like some of them, they their stores, they're not even big. They're also paying rent. They maybe they're a startup company. Like these. There's black people who have businesses as well, and I saw in some photos, in some videos, they are also looting the stores. And another thing, those people who are looting, it's not even the black people anymore. It's not just black people who are looting. It's black and white people who are looting now, and it's a thing where it's just anarchy. And maybe what they're doing is they just want to get things for free, and they're using the riots. They're using this racism, their fight against racism, to mask the evil deed that they're trying to do. I mean, maybe these people, they don't really care about black people. They just want to loot. They just wanna steal something. So that to me is very questionable, especially if you steal to people who are steal to businesses who are small, who doesn't have insurance, to those people who are also having a hard time, especially after the pandemic that just happened, having a hard time to just stay afloat, to keep their businesses afloat. If we're gonna do that, if we're gonna do that to those people, then we have to question the type of humanity that we're doing. I understand that we have a movement here. We are trying to voice out. We are trying to make ourselves heard that Black Lives Matter. But if what you're gonna do is also kill small and medium enterprises, then I that's not for me. I'm not for that. I don't believe that's the right thing to do as a movement. If you want to be heard, that's not what you should do. You should go to the big leagues. You should go to the big companies because they're the ones who have influence to the government. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you the next one. Good night.